Hola, young amigos. Let's get started. We are in week 1 and we're going to talk a lot about letters and sounds this week. If you're an emerging reader still working on learning how to read and write, don't stress out a whole lot if you sort of struggle through this week. Next week we'll be getting into some more words, vocabulary based, but we're talking lots about sounds this week. Vowels, consonants, numbers 1 to 10. Alphabet, and then cognates are our topics that we'll talk about here in this lesson. So our vowels in Spanish, basically the alphabet is almost the same as the English alphabet. So our vowels are pronounced as the letter A. In Spanish is pronounced A. It's like the ah that you give to the doctor when he's checking your throat. So repitan, A. E in Spanish is like the E in egg. So e. Repitan, e, a, e, and then the I is pronounced e, like ski. The vowel I in Spanish is pronounced as the vowel E in English, so it can be kind of confusing to hear. When I say E, if I'm talking in English, it's the second one, right? But if I'm talking in Spanish, it's this letter here. So, repitan, a, e. O in Spanish is like the O in orange, so it's the same in English, basically. O. The U in Spanish is like the U sound of monkeys going woo, 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 or like su, true, blue. So, repitan, A, E, I, O, U. Got it. Little rhyme. A, I, O, U. ¿Cuántos años tienes tú? Just a little rhyme to help you remember how to pronounce the vowels, something that you can go over and over again in your head and out loud to practice. ¿Cuántos años tienes tú has all of our vowels in it, and this is the question to ask, how old are you? So I'll say it again and then give you a moment to say it. A, I, O, U. ¿Cuántos años tienes tú? Literally, this is asking how many years do you have? We would say in English, how old are you? But just so you know, the literal translation of this is how many years do you have? So it makes sense to learn some numbers next, and we're only going to go up to 10, so if you're older than 10, why don't you ask Profe, just send her an email and say, how do you say 11, 12, 13? I will tell you whatever you need to know, but for now we're only going up to 10. So repeat them after you hear them. Uno. Dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, diez. Back to our rhyme. A, I, O, U. ¿Cuántos años tienes tú? To respond and say I am however old, you're going to use tengo and then a number and then años. So if you're 5 years old and you want to express, I'm 5 years old, you'll say, tengo 5 años, right? Cinco is the word for 5. I am 8 years old. Tengo 8 años. I am 10 years old. Tengo 10 años. Here's our numbers again. So as I go through them one more time, think in your mind or write down the number that you are and how you're going to say it, because I'm just going to have you say your own age out loud. So, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, diez. Okay, you got yours? All right, I'm going to ask. ¿Cuántos años tienes tú? Did you tell me your age? I hope so. Let me know if you're having any questions on that. Let's move on to the consonants, las consonantes. Basically, the consonants in Spanish are going to be the same as they are in English, so the ones that have some differences I'm just going to point out here. H in Spanish is always silent. It's sort of like an ornament. You write it, but you don't say it. You just see it, but you don't do anything with it. Spanish also has a letter double L, and when you see two L's next to each other, it sounds like the Y in the word yes. So think of yes with a double L, yeah, yeah. And with each of the vowels, we'll go through ya, ye, yi, yo, you. Here are some cognates. Cognates are words that are similar and mean the same thing in both English and Spanish. So with each of the letters we're going to go over, I'm going to give you some cognates just so we can practice words with these letters in them. For example, the first one, hamaca. And maybe you don't know what a hammock is. A hammock is a thing that you lay in. A lot of times on the beach, it's hanging between two palm trees. It's just something to be in that you can lay in and be comfy and take a nap. And so that's pronounced hamaca. The second word, héroe. It means hero. Notice that we're not pronouncing the H. Héroe. Hospital. Hospital. Historia. History. Humor. Humor. Horrible. Horrible. With the double L, millón, million. Brillante, brilliant. Camello, camel. Medalla, medal, like a medal that you wear around your neck for winning a race. RR, double R in Spanish is the rolling R sound. You're only going to roll your R when R is the first letter of a word, or when there are two R's in the middle of a word next to each other, RR. N with the squiggly line, it's called a tilt, or in Spanish, tilde. Ñ sounds like nya, 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 you can't get me. So think of it like that. In English, this sound is made with an NY like in the word canyon. So some words to practice. Carro, car. Terrible, terrible. Guitarra, guitar. Irregular, irregular. Montaña, mountain. Cañón, canyon. Compañía, company. España, Spain. The letter V sounds more like the letter B, as in baby, but it's not a real hard B sound. It's a more soft V. Baby, baby. Okay? So if you see a VA, it's actually pronounced va. Be. Be. Bo. Boo. Z sounds like the letter S, as in Sam. We never make the buzz sound like a bumblebee does. We don't do that in Spanish. Okay? So just remember it sounds like an S. Soft. Sa, se, si, so, su. The letter V words, vacaciones, vacation. Violeta, violet. Maravilla, marvelous or marvel. Vitamina, vitamin. Z sounds, Z words, zigzag, zigzag. Mostaza, it's mustard, doesn't quite look like mustard, but that's what it is. And then zona, zone. J is always laughing. It's a ha sound. Ha, he, hi, ho, hu are how those would be pronounced. So looking at some words, Júpiter, Jupiter. Jirafa, giraffe. Objeto, object. Justicia, justice. G sounds like the H in horse when it's in front of an E and an I. So he, he. G sounds as a baby's gaga goo goo speech when it's in front of an A, an O, or a U. To have baby sounds with an E or an I, we need to put a silent U between the G and the E, or the G and the I. So ga, ge, there's that silent U. Gi, silent U. Go, gu. Examples: inteligente, intelligent. General, general. Biología, biology. Galaxia, galaxy. Gasolina, gasoline. Hamburguesa, hamburger. C. C sounds like the C in cat, k, only when it's Actually, when it's before an A, an O, or a U. So, ka, ko, ku. C sounds like the S in snake when it's before an E or an I. Se, si. Think of a snake. Here's some examples. Café means coffee or cafe. Color, color. Calculadora, calculator. Celebrar, celebrate. Cemento, cement. Bicicleta, bicycle. Q is always next to a silent U, and an E or an I always follows it. So it's que or ki. Parque, park. Cheque, check. Quieto. This is actually a false cognate. It means calm or still. It doesn't mean quiet. Bloque, block. Raqueta, racket. Líquido, liquid. Arquitecto, architect. Máquina, that's machine. Alright, we're going to pause here, and part 2 will start out with el alfabeto.